I like that. Hey, what's up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. As you can tell, a little bit of a production update. We got a nice new fancy DSLR, fancy camera, and it looks a whole lot better. So excited to make some changes moving forward. Right now, this camera is temporary. I am doing a thing coming up, and they sent me a camera for it. But this is kind of what we want stuff to look like in the future. Eventually, obviously, we'll change the layout of the room, but this looks great. So hopefully we can keep this going moving forward when we get there. Plus, we'll be standing. It'll be great. But as always, we got roster stuff to talk about today, a little bit different. If you guys haven't seen the streams, and as always, Monday through Sunday, usually Tuesdays and Sundays are the days I take off. But in the description down below, twitch.tv/Lawler, come hang out with us. We talk about this almost every single day. But there's been some roster changes, and not only roster changes, but also just in general, some information about why some of the decisions have been made. So let's get straight into it. So the first one up, and the big one talked about in the title, was Scrubkilla kind of decided to, on stream, because Shift has pretty much leaked all the information anyway, decided to talk in detail about how and why he ended up where he did. I ended up going back and watching the stream VOD and trying to figure out and piecing things together, and this is ultimately what it came down to. So what it basically started off and what catapulted this whole situation was Guild wasn't getting the results that they wanted, and he's kind of the odd man out. LAWL and Nolly have been together through essentially like 4 roster changes, so Scrub's the odd man out and is going to have to be replaced. Because of that, he ends up hearing then that Dave, as he says, or Devo, is the one that is going to be taking his spot. From there, he's then basically curious about what roster spots are going to be available to see if he can find a new home. And he hears that Devo is supposed to be taking his spot, which means there's a spot open on what used to be FC Barcelona before they dropped their team and picked up a new one. So he decides to message Remkoe, and it takes a bit to convince Itachi, and they eventually try him out. And Scrub says that they made the team that they were scrimming against forfeit 35 minutes into scrims. Now, for those that are unaware, usually what pros do is they set up multiple scrims in a row, usually an hour apiece. You scrim team A for an hour, B for an hour, C for an hour, 3 hours of scrims, you're good for the night. So for a team to leave 25 minutes early either means A, they're getting clapped, or B, something important's going on and they just can't finish them out. Most likely it's the first option. So apparently things are going very well. Scrub said in that stream that it felt better than when he was with Vitality, and I assume he's mentioning the fact that they won a grand finals together and won a world championship. And the next one, they ended up going second in that world championship. So pretty good results for that Vitality team. He then talks about in the future how it was essentially coming down to between himself and Tox from the Vodafone Giants. He then goes off a little bit of a tangent and expresses frustration with Soniqs and how the trade window is only 6 days. If you haven't seen my thoughts and opinions on that, just go to my YouTube channel and just go to the last video. Pretty easy to do it. From his perspective, or from Scrub's perspective, he talks about how it felt like Remkoe wanted to play with him while Itachi wanted to play with Tox, so it was kind of a balancing act, and maybe over time probably would have been able to convince Itachi that Scrub was the better option. Obviously, it's a business decision. He's trying to look out for himself, and rightfully so. He's trying to find a new home. He said it numerous times that, quote, felt like a top 2 team 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, and kept saying over and over again that he was so confident that this team was going to be top 2 in the region, which is pretty big shoes to fill. They essentially then ended up having roughly 3 days to make the decision, and then Itachi, I guess, kind of went ghost and didn't talk to Remkoe or Scrub for like 2 days, and they didn't know that Itachi was supposed to be joining the Giants, which is weird that Itachi wants to play with Tox, but then takes Tox's spot on the Giants, which to me is kind of weird. From there, Scrub ends up finding out that Remkoe was actually going to Liquid from the Shift rumors that were going out, and he's sitting there like, there is nothing I can do. I'm sitting in bed, I'm freaking out, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is the worst I've ever felt, I want to compete. And then talks about as much as he enjoys creating content and doing YouTube and stuff, he is a competitor and wants to play the game, and not being able to do that for months at a time, kind of like what Kronovi's going to have to go through, is not something that he wanted to go through. So he did whatever he could. He went and found a new team. And in this case, he said, is there something I can do? Oh, wait, I can replace Smilla again. He then talks about in detail the differences between the teams, and talks primarily about how he thinks Hibs and Breezy are on similar skill level to Tho and Nolly, although he would give Nolly a little bit more of a higher skill ceiling with mechanics, but does feel like it's going to be an interesting run, and has no animosity towards any of the old guys on Guild. Obviously, he understands that things just didn't work out, but man, a lot of things that could have been. Obviously, this is the team that was supposed to be rumored with Itachi, Remkoe, and Scrub on who the tier 1 organization was supposed to be that was going to pick them up. I am asking and pushing for information to find out who that organization may have been based upon my contacts, and as soon as I know, I will let you guys know. But this is poor planning by Soniqs. This stuff should not be happening. If this went as Scrubkilla has stated, there's some pretty big problems. I don't think I can take 100% of what Scrubs is for certain. Obviously, it's from only his perspective. But I will say, again, if you guys don't go back and watch that other video, that this trade window was way too short. It should have been at least 2 weeks. And with them pushing back all the dates for open qualifiers and everything else as well, I don't foresee there being a reason why they didn't do it for the trade window also. So enough about Scrubkilla, talking about other European teams. We obviously talked about Liquid and how they've pretty much confirmed Remkoe, but something that was done immediately after and actually pretty late at night, so I couldn't get it in yesterday's video, is that Remkoe is actually going to be joining that team as well. There's obviously rumors of Speed bringing him as a coach, but they also have him listed as a sub as well. Obviously, he's primarily going to be coaching, and he isn't going to get any actually in-game time. But if a worst case scenario happens and they do need a sub, at least he's registered and has the capability to step in as someone with experience rather than just kind of being sorry out of luck. Jumping over to the North American region, officially confirmed. We already knew it was kind of happening. I said it was 99% sure, kind of confirmed it the other day, but Soniqs does put out a post officially, as you can see here, that Tcorrell is officially welcomed to the family. He's the missing piece of our RL esports roster, and with him and the rest of the team, we're ready to dominate next season. I actually really do enjoy this pickup. J. Russ, a lot of people do talk about how cracked he is and how talented he is. I think Shock solidifies that team, and it's kind of like the violent panda for them. Kind of locks it down. He holds them up on defense, still can progress forward. I just want to see this team make the transition that Top Blokes did. Soniqs was a very boring team to watch back in the day, and they need to transition it into offense. They need to apply that pressure, and the team is definitely there. And with Tcorrell's addition, I think this could be a very similar situation to what we got out of Top Blokes after the Freaky departure, the addition of Archie, a different looking team. So I think Soniqs one that people should keep their eyes on. They haven't really made any waves in the past split, in the fall split, but I think this is a good start for them. A team we haven't heard too much about in the past week is the Peeps, and that's because they're not making any changes. Gyro decided to put out a tweet saying that might as well make this clear. RLCS Winter Split roster is going to remain the same. Got Gyro, AJ, and Illusion with Coach Moopy and Malchus. Looking forward to seeing how they can further improve. This was a team that obviously had some question marks around them when they first came in, sticking together, and still have yet to find a organization, unfortunately. I think they've solidified themselves pretty much in that number 5 spot. They have a hard time of pushing past the peak, the guys at the very top, you know, the kind of big 4 as they've been deemed, but they're competitive and they're not one that other teams take lightly. So I want to see them continue to improve. I assume they are not satisfied with just top 5, so excited to see how they step into that next level. And last but not least, we had some rumors about what Luke was going to be doing now that he is off of Ghost. It does look like he has signed up with the former sub of G2 in Mile as well as Forky. So some of the rumors are true. They're going to be known as Sippin Ice Cubes. I don't understand the reason why some of these names happen, but I'm also kind of old compared to some of the people in the scene, so maybe I'm just not hip enough for it. I don't know, man. I don't get it. That is going to wrap it up for today's video. Appreciate you guys all taking the time. As always, we also hit 25,000 subs, and I guess this is the question I want to present to you guys. We hit 25,000 subs. What would you like me to do for the video? Should we answer comments? Should we do a Q&A video? Should we do something special, something a little bit different? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys would like to see for a 25,000 subscriber thank you video, and we'll move on from there. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.